I confronted my dad about a mortgage I never signed. He just turned down the Gulf. Then the fraud division called me back. Hi, I'm Nathan, 31, and last week I found out my parents refinanced their house using my credit score. I was on the last bite of a cold cheeseburger in the firehouse kitchen when I got the call. "Mr. Carter?" said a woman with a clipboard voice. "Yeah? This is Sheila from First Regional Credit. We just need to confirm a few things before we finalize the disbursement for the refinance loan." I wiped grease from my mouth with the back of my hand. "I think you've got the wrong number." Sheila paused. "This is Nathan Carter, correct? Social ending in 8231? The burger dropped out of my hand. "Yeah, that's me," I said slowly, already standing. "What disbursement?" More clicking. "The $197,000 refinance on the property at 182 Glenwood. That was my parents' house. That's not... I didn't apply for that." Another pause. This one longer, like she just saw a red flag pop up on her monitor. "Oh," she said carefully, "it's showing your name as the primary borrower." I could hear the alarm bells starting in my own head, those low warning tones that mean something's already on fire, you just haven't seen the smoke yet. "Ma'am," I said, pacing the station hallway, "I need you to send me every document you have, now." 10 minutes later, I'm staring at a PDF on my cracked phone screen that has my full name typed neatly into a mortgage agreement. Typed, signed, dated. Except I didn't sign it. I didn't even know about it. I drove straight from the station to Glenwood. I didn't text, I didn't call. I walked in the front door and found my dad watching a golf tournament like he wasn't committing federal crimes between birdies. "Dad," I said, voice steady like it was a fire scene, "why is my name on your refinance loan?" He didn't flinch, just turned the volume down. "Oh, that. That. Not sorry, not I can explain, just that." He leaned back in the recliner like we were chatting about the weather. "You've got good credit. Didn't want to miss the rate lock." I stared at him, blood draining from my face. "Are you kidding me?" "No," he said plainly. "We're family. What's mine is yours, right?" I think that's the moment something in me snapped, like a window breaking inward. My mom was in the kitchen stirring pasta like this was Tuesday and not felony o'clock. "Mate," she said brightly, "you're just in time for dinner." "I'm not here for dinner," I said, holding up my phone. "I'm here because someone forged my name on a $200,000 loan." She didn't even pause the stirring. "It's not forgery, sweetheart. It's family." That word again, family. Apparently, in this house, it meant you were a walking signature line. "You used my credit," I said, louder now. "You used my name, my identity. Do you know what that means?" My dad stood, annoyed. "It means we trusted you." I laughed once, short, sharp. "No, it means you used me." The air thickened. My mom set the spoon down gently like she was afraid of startling me, or maybe just wanted to seem calm while her son was having a breakdown in the foyer. "You're not using it. Your credit. You don't even own a house." "That's not the point," I snapped. "It's mine." My dad crossed his arms. "And who paid for your school, your braces, your truck when you totaled the first one?" "Oh, so this is payback? You're cashing in on raising me?" My mom's eyes watered instantly. She was always fast with tears. "You make good money. You're a firefighter. We just needed a little help." "And you asked for that help by what? Logging into my credit report and pretending to be me?" Silence. Then my mom tried to soften it again. "We were going to tell you." "When? After you defaulted and tanked my entire future?" They both looked at me like I was the one being unreasonable, like it was a simple misunderstanding. "You're blowing this out of proportion," my dad said, grabbing his drink. I stared at them. These people who'd raised me, yes, who'd helped me through broken arms and bad grades and the academy.
but also these people who saw my name not as me, but as a resource. I turned toward the door. "Nate," my mom said, almost pleading, "where'd your parents?" I stopped in the doorway, hand on the knob. "Yeah," I said, "you were." And I walked out into the cold night, wondering how the hell I was going to fix the damage done by the two people who were supposed to protect me from it. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay on Lewis's lumpy couch staring at the water stain on his ceiling, counting the ways my life might be over. At 7 a.m., I called Sheila from First Regional. "Hey, this is Nathan Carter again," I said, voice hoarse. "I need to file a fraud report. That refinance loan, I didn't authorize it." She was quiet for a second. Then, "Mr. Carter, are you saying someone submitted this application without your consent?" "Yes." "And the signature?" "Forged." Clicking. More typing. "We'll escalate to our fraud division, but—" She hesitated. "The loan's already processed. Funds were wired yesterday morning." I sat straight up. "What?" "Into an account under your name and your father's." "I don't have a joint account with my father." "You do now," she said. I hung up and pulled up my banking app. There it was, a new account, newly created, showing $197,000 and zero access from my side. I couldn't even see the routing number. Lewis looked over from the kitchen, mid-toast. "Bad?" "They created a bank account in my name, used my identity to take the money." He whistled low. "Dude, that's jail stuff." "Yeah," I muttered, "for anyone not related to me." I called my department HR next, told them what happened, asked what it meant for my credit, my pension, my security clearance. "If this shows up on your background check," the HR guy said slowly, "you'll need documentation proving you weren't involved. Otherwise, it could affect your eligibility." "For what?" "Promotions, transfers, specialized units, the whole ladder I'd been working to climb for years." I hung up, heart pounding, then did the thing I'd been dreading. I called my parents. No answer. I tried again. Nothing. Third try, my mom picked up. "Max, I can't talk right now." "Too bad," I said. "We need to meet, in person." She sighed. "Why are you being so dramatic?" I ignored her. "You have until noon, at the bank. Bring Dad. Bring whatever documents you forged, because if I don't see you there, I'm going to the police." A pause. Then, "Fine." At 11:57, they walked into the bank like they were showing up for a parent-teacher conference. Calm, slightly annoyed. My dad actually shook my hand. The banker brought us into a little glass office. I laid it out. I didn't sign the loan. I didn't authorize a new account. I didn't give permission for any of this. The banker nodded, already smelling smoke. Then he turned to my parents. "Do either of you have proof of Nathan's consent to open this account?" My mom opened her purse, smiled, pulled out a printed email. I recognized the email address, my email, and a PDF with my name typed neatly. It wasn't my signature, but it looked close. Too close. I stared at the fake signature. Same tilt, same lazy loop on the N. But I'd never touched that form, never opened that PDF. "This isn't mine," I said, voice flat. My mom leaned forward like a lawyer. "It matches your DMV file." "That's because Dad signed my driver test paperwork when I was 17. The banker frowned, clearly regretting every career choice that led him to this room. "So you're saying this signature was forged?" "Yes." My dad scoffed. "We didn't forge anything. We facilitated." "Facilitated," I repeated, slowly turning toward him. "That's your defense?" He shrugged. "You live under our roof. You benefit from the house. We needed a cosigner." "I moved out a year ago." "You still keep your gear here, your fire jackets in the garage." That broke me. "That's what makes me eligible to be impersonated, because my jacket is still here?" The banker raised both hands. "Okay."
We're going to pause right here. Mr. Carter, Nathan, I'm going to open a formal fraud investigation. Once I flag this account, the funds will be frozen.
"What?"
my dad barked. "You can't do that. That money's already spent." My head jerked toward him. "What?" My mom stiffened. "We put down a payment on the addition and Emily's car and a few other things." Emily, of course, the golden child. "So you knew this wasn't okay," I said. "That's why you didn't tell me." "We were going to," my mom said quickly. We didn't want you to say no." My jaw clenched so hard it ached. "That's not parenting. That's theft." The banker nodded grimly. "From a legal standpoint, it may qualify as identity fraud." My parents looked stunned, like they'd never once considered there'd be consequences. My mom's voice dropped to a whisper. "Nathan, if you do this, we could lose the house." I didn't speak. I just stood and walked out. Out of the bank, out of the lie, out of the years of being the responsible one while they played house with my name. Lewis was waiting in the parking lot. When he saw my face, he tossed me a protein bar. Bad? Worse. We sat in his car in silence while I chewed and stared at the dashboard. Then I pulled out my phone, opened a new email. Subject: Identity theft report. Urgent. To Officer Ramirez. I typed, "They used my credit. They forged my signature. They opened accounts in my name and spent the money before I even knew it existed." I hit send. For once, I wasn't going into the fire for them. I was walking out. 3 days later, Officer Ramirez called me back. "We've reviewed the documents and emails," he said. "There's enough to open a formal case. Are you prepared to move forward with charges?" I sat on the edge of my twin bed. Lewis had generously upgraded me from couch to guest room and stared at the floor. "I don't know," I admitted. "They're my parents." There was a pause. Then Ramirez said something I still think about. "They're your family, yes, but you're their victim too." That landed like a punch. I whispered, "Yeah, okay, let's do it." That week was a blur of paperwork and statements. I forwarded everything. Emails, account screenshots, even a photo of my high school signature for comparison. Lewis offered to come with me to the station. I told him I needed to do it alone. Walking in that day, I didn't feel brave. I felt wrecked. But I also felt sure. For the first time in months, I wasn't choking in smoke. The detective walked me through the next steps: the investigation, the subpoena for financial records, the possibility of court. "And what about the loan?" he asked. "If it's proven to be fraud, the bank can't hold you liable, but they can pursue your parents." I nodded, throat dry. That night, I got a text from Emily. "Emily, I hope you're proud. Mom's been crying for hours. Dad's furious. If they get charged, it's on you." I stared at it for a full minute, then typed, "If they get charged, it's because they committed a crime, not because I told the truth." "God, you're such a martyr. You've always thought you were better than us." "No, I just finally realized I deserve to be treated like a person, not a resource." She didn't respond. 2 days later, a letter arrived at Lewis's address. My parents had mailed it. No return name, just the neat cursive I'd seen on every birthday card growing up. Inside was a single-page handwritten note from my mom. "Nathan, we're sorry things happened this way. We never intended to hurt you. We were just trying to survive. If you care about this family, you'll find a way to fix it. Love, Mom." No apology, no ownership, just another ask disguised as affection. I folded the letter and slid it into a folder marked documentation. Lewis walked in just then, holding 2 gas station burritos like sacred offerings. Any new drama? Only the usual: emotional manipulation, guilt grenades, the works. He handed me a burrito. "Let me guess, still no mention of paying you back?"
Not a word. We ate on the couch, watching reruns of Rescue Me. I laughed once during a scene where a guy's car explodes and he just stares at the smoke like it's Tuesday. Luis caught my eye. "You good?" "I'm getting there," I said. I didn't know how long the legal stuff would take. I didn't know if my family would ever admit what they'd done. But I knew this: I wasn't going back. Not to the house, not to the guilt, not to the version of myself who thought love meant sacrificing your sanity. The bank officially removed my name from the refinance loan a week later. I got the confirmation email at 6:14 p.m., right as I was changing out of my turnout gear after back-to-back calls. Subject: Borrower Removal Approval, Nathan Carter. I stared at it for a while, not sure what I was feeling. Relief, definitely, but also something heavier, like winning a fight you never wanted to be in. Luis bought a cheap bottle of whiskey to celebrate. We clinked mismatched mugs in the kitchen. "To adulthood," he said, "where your reward for doing everything right is a forged loan application." I snorted. "Cheers." The next morning, I got a knock on the firehouse side door. We weren't expecting visitors. I opened it and found my father. He looked smaller than usual. Not physically, he still had that same square-shouldered presence, but something about his face was cracked, like the fight had finally leaked out. "Nathan," he said. I didn't move. "How'd you even know I was here?" He held up his phone. "Find my friends. Your mother still has your location." "Of course she did." "You shouldn't be here," I said. He nodded. "I know. I wanted to talk." I stepped outside, but I didn't invite him in. We stood by the engine bay, side by side like strangers who'd once known each other. "You were right," he said after a long moment. "We used you." I waited. "We told ourselves it was temporary, that we'd pay you back, that it wasn't really fraud because, well, you're our kid." I didn't say anything. He rubbed his face with both hands. "But it was fraud. I know that now." There it was, the thing I never expected to hear from him. Actual ownership. He looked at me. "I don't expect you to forgive us, but I wanted to say it to your face." I stared at him for a long time. Then I asked, "Why now?" He shrugged, but it was the honest kind. "Because I kept thinking you'd cave, that you'd drop the charges, come back, let it go. But you didn't. You held the line." "I made you," I said. "You pushed until the only way to breathe was to walk away." He nodded. Then quieter. "Your mom still doesn't get it." "Yeah," I figured. He started to leave, then paused. "We'll find a way to fix it, even if it takes years. You deserved better than what we gave you." I watched him walk to his car. He looked older suddenly, like a man whose son had finally stopped pulling him out of the fire. That night, I got an email from Emily. "I don't agree with how you handled this, but I get it now. I'm not ready to talk, but I wanted you to know the nursery's on hold." It wasn't an apology, but it wasn't an attack either. Progress. I closed my laptop and looked around the apartment. Still bare walls, no couch yet. My mattress was still on the floor, but it was mine. Every inch, every bill, every decision. For the first time in my life, that was enough. It was raining the next time I saw my mom. I'd stopped by the grocery store after a long shift, still in my station hoodie, hair damp from a roof vent we'd popped that morning. I was halfway through the self-checkout when I looked up, and there she was. Pale blue raincoat, purse over one arm, frozen in front of the produce like she'd just spotted a ghost. Our eyes met. She walked over. I didn't. "Nathan?" she said gently, like my name was something she was still allowed to use. I turned back to the screen, scanned my bag of rice. "Hi?" She waited until I finished, then stepped in front of my cart. "Can we talk?" I shrugged. "We are."
She flinched but recovered fast. "I've been thinking about what you said, about how we didn't ask, about how we treated you like what did you call it? A communal wallet?" I didn't answer. I just looked at her. She sighed. "It wasn't fair. You were right." I said nothing. "I miss you," she added. I picked up my receipt. "That's not the same as being sorry." Her voice cracked. "I am sorry." I studied her face. She looked tired, like maybe she hadn't been sleeping either, but I couldn't tell if it was regret or just the weight of being caught. "You want me to say it's okay," I said, "but it's not. You stole from me. You jeopardized my job, my credit, my entire life trajectory. And for what? So Emily could drive a new SUV?" Her jaw tightened. "She's about to be a mother." "And I was already your son," I snapped, "but that didn't stop you." Silence. "I'm in therapy," she said suddenly. "We both are, your father and me. We're trying to understand where we went wrong." "That's something," I said, and meant it. "But I'm still not ready to come back." Her eyes filled. "You won't come home? Not even for the baby?" I shook my head. Not until it's a home that respects boundaries. Not until I know I'm not just being tolerated until you need something else. I thought she might cry. She didn't. She just nodded like someone finally realizing the consequences were real. I hope one day you can forgive us, she said. I hope one day I won't need to, because you'll have stopped doing things that require it. I walked out with my groceries, the automatic doors parting like a final exit. In the parking lot, I texted Ramirez. Me. They approached me in public, said the right words, still watching. He replied immediately. Good instincts, document it, we're close to wrapping. Back at my apartment, I put everything away slowly, deliberately. Each item a reminder. I provide for myself now. Rice, eggs, frozen pizza, dignity. I curled up on my mattress, lights low, rain tapping the window. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like something was chasing me. I just felt still. The charges were filed 2 weeks later. Ramirez called me directly. They're not being arrested, not yet, but they're being formally charged with identity theft and fraud. The DA agreed there's enough to proceed. I didn't know what I was supposed to feel. Victory? Relief? Instead, I just felt calm, like the way a fire feels when it burns all the way down. No more smoke, no more chaos, just the cold, scorched truth left behind. The DA offered a deal. If my parents admitted guilt, paid restitution, and attended a court-mandated financial ethics course, the charges wouldn't escalate to jail time. I said yes, because at the end of the day, I didn't want revenge. I wanted accountability. A week later, I got a certified letter in the mail. Inside was a typed statement signed by both of them. We acknowledge that we used our son Nathan Carter's personal information without his consent to obtain financial loans. We regret our actions and accept full responsibility. It wasn't emotional, it wasn't apologetic, but it was real. And it was enough. Luis and I celebrated with gas station tacos and a used futon from Craigslist. He helped me carry it up 3 flights of stairs and I nearly died halfway laughing. Bro, is this what freedom feels like? Horrible upholstery and heart palpitations? I grinned. Pretty much. That night, I finally let myself sit still. I looked around my tiny, imperfect apartment. No baby blue accent walls, no Pinterest nurseries, no parents rummaging through my documents. Just my stuff, my name, my life. Emily sent a photo 2 months later. The baby, a little boy named Jonah, wrinkled and red and full of new beginnings. Her message read, "You were right, we took too much. I won't ask again, but I hope you'll meet him someday." I stared at it long time. Then I replied, "Someday, when I know my name is mine again."
She hearted the message. Nothing more. That was okay. Later that week, a letter from the bank confirmed the fraudulent account was closed, the debt dissolved, and my credit restored. I printed it out, taped it to the fridge like a kid hanging up an A+. At the firehouse, someone cracked a joke about how I always had my life together. I smiled. Didn't correct them. Because they didn't know. They didn't see the nights I'd stared at my ceiling, wondering if cutting off my own family made me cold, if drawing a line meant I'd become the villain in someone else's story. But now I understood something simple and unshakable. Drawing boundaries isn't cruel. What's cruel is letting people carve up your life and calling it love. Sometimes protecting yourself is the brave thing. Sometimes walking away from the fire is the only way to stop burning. And now, I come home after a long shift, kick off my boots, crack a beer, and sit on my futon. It's lumpy, the springs creak, the armrest is held together by duct tape and a prayer. But it's mine. And no one can take it from me. Not anymore.